I'm ready.
What's wrong with this?
Okay, we're going to get the meeting started. I am remote today because I got a monster cold with 101 fever, so that's no fun.
Yes, thank you.
Dave Dolan would want me sitting right next to him, breathing on him, so figured I'd be remote today. So we will start with the attendance. Dorothy, start us off in the corner there, please.
Dorothy Banaszewski, Facilities Construction.
Michael Guida, CORC.
Holly Hahn, Office of the General Counsel.
David Dolan, Chief Facilities Management.
Barbara Myers, Construction Purchasing.
The White's Company.
Okay, thank you.
Jim Miles, Dan, Verdex Construction.
Colin Stevens, Verdex Construction.
Jacob Katz, Pertle Construction.
Mark Roque, Facilities and Construction.
Bob Bliss, Office of Inspector General. John Anderson, Thornton Construction.
John Levinson with Rail Enterprises representing Siskovich Architects and Wharton Smith.
David Brooks, Facility Construction.
Carson Proctor with Proctor Construction.
Northeast Canyon, Facilities Construction.
And I want to go on record just for those in the room, if you have not already signed in on the sheet outside, as Dorothy will say, if you haven't signed in on the sheet outside, you're not here today.
You're not here?
Even us.
All right, virtually, we have David Porter,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Present.
Michael Gelfand,
Present for now, Mr. Chair. I've got to leave in a few moments. I'm just here to help you get quorum.
Okay, thank you.
Dorothy,
Yes, sir.
will we retain quorum when Michael leaves?
Yes, we will.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
I'm not
Tom
even
Berg.
worth.
Tom Berger,
Here.
Virginia Ferris,
Present.
Bruce Alexander,
Present.
and Kevin Wilkinson.
Present.
Hi, I'm Gloria Branch. Gloria Branch School Board members on by phone. I'm at an event.
Excellent, thank you. Welcome to our newest school board member and our representative for CORC, Board Member Branch. Welcome to have you and look forward to seeing you in the future.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yep.
And we also have Joe Sanchez is on with us as well.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone.
Thanks, Joe.
David, just so I'm clear, it sounds like we have 7 CORCs.
Yes, with Michael, I believe.
Yeah, no, I think we have 8 with Michael.
We have
That's
8 with
right.
Michael Gelfand.
Okay.
And we need
The reason
6.
I ask is I have to leave at about 11:05.
Oh, we're not going to be here that long.
Okay.
I missed the last word.
They've already warned me not to talk, so.
Mr. Wilkinson has to leave at 10:40.
Yeah.
So we should be done in plenty of time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably going to do more of the talking here right now. Chairman's report. I haven't given you an update in the White's construction program at Semel Ridge in a while. And last Thursday and Friday, we installed the house number 11 out in South Bay. And so for board members, CORC members, and staff members who haven't seen this in a while, it is a construction academy at Semel Ridge High School. I actually co-founded it with the teacher who's retired, Rick Turkovich. Now there's a new teacher in place who I will talk about in a minute. And we build one house per year in the school shop and then ship it on 7 tractor trailers and a crane for 2 days and 10 volunteer workers from the White's Construction Company onto a Habitat Foundation. So it's a Habitat program. They provide all the funding and all the materials right to the school's shop door. And the students do all the labor. And as you'll see, it's everything from bare slab up through finished drywall, wiring, plumbing, and it's a 1,206 square foot house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So I'm going to give you a flash-by slideshow where we started and where it ended up last Friday. Dorothy? That's where we start with the floor systems laid out in the shop, all 1,200 square feet laid out in 4 different house modules. Next. Students frame up walls. Next. Plywood sheathing goes on. And again, every bit of the labor you see here is all being taught and done by up to 170 students from freshmen through seniors. I call the freshmen a bunch of scattered ants because they're just learning. And by the time they get to be juniors and seniors, they are foremen to help teach and guide the freshmen and sophomores. So they're already into kind of management training. Next. roof system. We frame up the entire roof trusses inside the shop. It's really nice that the shop is that big. So it's a 1,200 square foot house roof in 6 different roof sections with the trusses. Next. Plywood sheathing goes on. Next. They dry it in. Next. All the electrical and plumbing is all roughed in by the students. The teacher brings in an electrician and a plumber, and they work with the students. They mentor the students, and then the students do all the work. The whole house is electrically and roughed in to different modules so that an electrician can get to the job when it's installed and bring everything down through the conduits and set up the final for the panel. Next. Put the windows in, building wrap on the outside. Next. All the insulation. Next. Drywall and painted. Students do the drywall, then they come in, they put knockdown finish on, they paint the walls. And this year, we had some extra time because Habitat was getting a tough time to find a property. So the students installed the door rock onto the floor because Habitat then comes in and does thin set tile. Next. All right, this was last week, Thursday at the school. Crane loading up the roof sections. Next. 2 sections each on a tractor trailer. Next. Students push the house modules out on 4 industrial rollers. That's the teacher there in front. Go ahead.
Sorry.
That's all right. Next.
Got ahead of you.
That's all right. And you'll see it's not much of a clearance, so I had to have something to fit out the door. We had 2.5 inches at the top and about 4 inches on each side. And so far, out of 11 houses, it's all worked. Keep going. Next. 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 Okay. Crane comes in, lifts it up, back the truck underneath, down, and the truck heads out the South Bay, giving it the Hurricane Category 1 test, going 70 miles an hour out Southern Boulevard. So we have to make sure it stays together. Next. This is Friday, last week, installing the modules onto the foundation. The first 2 house modules are installed. Third one's sitting on the truck. Next. Third going in place. Next. 4th module setting in place. That one is the kitchen and the air conditioner and the washer dryer closet. Next. And this particular house is the first one under the new teacher, Todd Williams. And he grew up in construction. We didn't have that ability with the previous teacher, who was still a good teacher, but he didn't have the construction background that Todd does. This particular house was perfectly plumb and square to the foundation. And this is a joint between the 2 modules. This is the first time that these modules have ever come together. In the shop, you saw when we started, they're separated by about 6 feet apart. So each set of students that works on a different module has to make sure that their unit's going to marry up perfectly with the next unit. And this is the best house we've done yet. And I think it's, again, a tribute to the teacher having a solid, all his life, construction background. Next. This corner's worked out perfectly square with the foundation. And again, when you build a building, normally you got foundation that goes all the way up. So the guy in the field's responsible for doing all that. Well, we built the modules disconnected from the foundation. And the first thing we check is make sure the foundation's square when we get there, so that if our modules aren't square, we know who's to blame. And this was within 5/8 of an inch, so that was pretty close. Next. First roof section goes on. Next. Second section. Next. And again, the roof sections, you'll see that joint between the 2. This roof went together so seamlessly and perfectly planed out. And every house we've done previously, we've always had problems of having to jostle the roof around and get it to plane out. Again, I think it's a tribute to somebody that, his whole life has been in construction and is a really good teacher with the student to get this all to plane out perfectly. Next. Third section's in place. Again, the roofs are just perfect. What we now do is take a roll of 6-inch wide roofing tape and go up and over that seam. And that same day we installed, it's got a perfectly dried in house.
Wow.
This is the inside. First time the modules have ever been together. I'm standing in the kitchen module. The one to the left, you'll see that black joint between with plywood. That's the living room module next door. Again, first time these two have ever been together. And so the right module and the left module, that opening had to align, and it perfectly aligned. Again, all done by different students and different classes. Next. That's what it looked like when we were done at about 1:30. We also knocked an hour and a half off of our previous installation time. So from about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon, 4 modules and 6 roof sections were installed. Habitat now takes it over, and the 3 piers you see in the front is a front porch that they built. There's a shed that gets built onto the back of the house. They do all the concrete work, drywall, interior doors, and cabinets, finish out the electric and the plumbing, do all the landscaping work, put up fences, and then the homeowner can move in, most likely around March by the time they get that done. Next. There's the floor of the shop ready for house number 12, which is going right next to house number 11 in South Bay. And the teacher was running out of things for the student to do. So you'll see he's already got 3 floor sections sitting there to the left that are already framed up. And as of yesterday, we're starting the plywood sheathing on the floor systems. So that's our program. That's house number 11.
Wow. Do they, Mr. Porter, do the kids get to observe or participate in the installation process? I know they're assembling.
They assemble, they work with the crane operator and White's at the school to push the modules out. They do a bunch of the straps and the rigging. They work with White's out at the site for installation. They observe. I think there were probably at least a dozen seniors that went out with the teacher. They don't do any work during the installation process. I just, flying things through the air and cranes, you just need a little bit more experience. And I don't know. I mean, White's is managing that process, the donated process. I don't think they want that risk.
David, congratulations on another house. That I'm amazed every time you show us these pictures, and I love when it makes its way out of the garage entrance, just like that. Remind everybody who pays for all of the supplies, all the wood, all the.
It's a Habitat program that I got Habitat engaged with the program. 13 years ago. I've been the architect for Seminole Ridge since it opened. They nabbed me because they found me through CORC somehow. And Habitat then provides all the materials. They have them shipped right to the shop door. The trusses are actually getting delivered today. So the students provide all the labor. Habitat provides a stipend for any tools that might get broken. The White's company, I got them involved probably 15 years ago as being the named partner in the program. And they also have a stipend that they pay the school to cover any miscellaneous costs that we might have that wouldn't be Habitat costs. So it doesn't cost the district a dime. When the construction program first started, the district was funding it with $500. It's like, here's your program and here's $500. And that wouldn't have been enough to build some birdhouses. So with this program, it is just perfectly ideal because all the funding is there, the family is there, the real estate is there, the foundation is there. So it's ideal because I work with another school and they had to build the house on site. It was a problem. And then they have to sell the house. So now you got to get real estate involved. And it's ideal and it still continues to work well. Habitat loves the program because it helps them even with other funding that they try to do. Because somebody donated this program is not just donating to help a family, they're contributing to the education of 170 kids per year.
That's right.
Construction trades and about life. And they're giving back to their community.
Yes.
I talked with a few of the students during the move process of, how's the new teacher? And they could not praise him enough. They said he's fair, but he's stern. And when I've been out there doing inspections, because I'm also the building inspector while it's at the school, they just said that they want to learn. They want to be out in the shop learning. And it was nice to just see no students staying in the classroom when construction was going. They were out there working. So program
That's great.
continues to work.
And I know, Mr. Sanchez, I know you hold strongly to this type of thing. You and the superintendent, obviously, we're really proud of the fact that the kids are getting this opportunity, because this is not necessarily your traditional high school to college program. Now, some cases it is, but in a lot of cases, this is a great opportunity for kids to see other alternatives to a great career, going forward. This is an incredible effort. As Ms. Ferris said, this is a great job what you and these guys do.
And I know we got a couple other contractors in the room and architects, so think about the opportunities. We have more opportunities for other partners to participate in this kind of programs around the school district. I heard an interesting statistic, which is that only 60% of our kids go on to college. So that means 40% of our kids are either going straight into careers or into the military. So there's a lot of students who want to do something else besides college. So with the cost of college these days, I can see why they want to look at these other alternatives. So let's try to give them a good path that they could have great careers. So thanks again for this, David. You guys are the model for the district and around the country, I think.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we will continue the meeting. Anyone with conflict of interest or get approached by any lobbyists that needs to be disclosed?
David, before you move on from your report,
Yes.
did you want to mention about Sam Shannon?
Yes, I forgot. Sam Shannon needed to retire from. He was having some continuing health issues, which we understand he's over with at this point, but he was moving out of the area to go live near family. And he said that pretty much meant he could not serve on CORC anymore. So I had sent Sam, I believe, an email on behalf of CORC thanking him for his service. And I don't know if he's moved out of the area yet or not.
Please have the minutes reflect how grateful we were for Sam over all these years. And I personally will miss his input.
Okay.
Will do.
Yep. All right, back to my question. Anyone with a conflict of interest for anything reviewed today or has been approached by a lobbyist that needs to be disclosed? All right. Public comments. Any public comments from the room?
I think we're clear.
Okay. All right, consent agenda. FC1. FC2. PC1. PC2. Well, my mic must be off because I didn't hear anybody pulling.
I move the items forward on consent agenda.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Mike Guida. Any discussion? I guess not. No, we're pulled. Dorothy, go ahead, poll us.
David Porter,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Michael Galfand. Not sure if he's still with us. Michael Guida,
Yes.
Tom Berger,
Yes.
Virginia Ferris,
Yes.
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we are all the way down to staff updates.
Okay, I want to keep with the expedition of this meeting, and I don't have any comments other than the season. I want to wish everyone the happiest of holiday seasons. Again, like my comment in November, I wish that everybody takes their opportunity to enjoy their time with family and friends, and has a very healthy, happy holiday season, because come January, we're back diving in head first. On the school district side, if you were wondering, our capital budgeting and our operating budgets all kick off in earnest early January. We have to have our budgets all lined up. So on our side, the construction side and maintenance side, we are working diligently right now to start preparing for our capital budget for the coming years, identifying projects, identifying programs, and also working to try to plan out the next 12 years of our referendum that was passed. So quite a bit of work to go on, but we look forward to giving everybody updates in the coming months as to the progress of the capital plan. So with that, I will wish everyone a happy holiday. And Mr. Porter, if it's okay, I will move right into the in-progress meeting report.
Yes, please do. Yep.
Okay. You'll see the progress in our participation with our small business providers. Still a very strong commitment there. Moving along. And by the way, everybody, they all told me, don't talk so much. So I know I got to get out of here faster. For those that are always looking, remember, I know you guys want to see what's coming up. There's a number of projects that are out on the street right now, and I know there are a few more that are coming. But this list is on, obviously this report is online, and I think purchasing also has a projection as to the next upcoming solicitations. Moving on. For our CORC members, this is a list of all the projects that will be coming forward in the coming months. Next. All right. I'm not going to bore everybody with the details, but this slide represents a lot of the design processes that are ongoing. So quite a bit of work. And some of our designs that are moving towards GMPs. Now our facility renewal projects. Again, on this one, I will have Dorothy scroll through relatively quickly. You're welcome to check these out, but these are generally the progress for each of our facility renewal projects, many of which are coming near their end. But we're rolling out new ones. And of course, I mentioned previously, our facility renewals are now getting to the smaller range of projects. They're not the $6-8 million projects. There are far fewer of those. There are a lot smaller projects, smaller scopes. Love the photographs on this. Okay. Belglade flooring, got some nice designs there. Scoreboards, quite impactful. Okay, now on to our new schools. Our school that we will refer to just for our purposes here as the Arden School, the school that's in the Arden community, West Acreage Elementary, 15E, is well underway. We anticipate the school will be open for August. They're quite far along. You'll see that the fireproofing is done on the floors and roof joists. It's done now. Framing and the trades are in section A and B. A is our big classroom building. So when you get to the pictures, you'll see there's a big 3-story classroom building. B is the office area, the front area. This footprint is just like our Blue Lake Elementary School. And C is the cafeteria. So you'll notice there you are. You can see the large 3-story classroom building. The building just to the left of it is that one right there is the cafeteria building. And then in between there is the main office area, the administration space. The good news is we anticipate we are still on schedule. As a matter of fact, I think one of the slides you'll see, the asphalt in one of the parking lots, the main parking lot, first lift has already gone down. Still some underground work that's finishing up, but by and large, a lot of the site work is done. our deliveries of materials. A lot of our bigger materials are expected to be delivered in January. And again, I know I'm cursing myself, but we are on target to actually have those deliveries made in January. Important items, generators, switchgear, et cetera. We also, I know in the past, the committee has asked us about the coordination with FP&L, and we've had some challenges with our AT&T connectivity. The construction company is working closely with FP&L. They are slated to make their connection in February, and AT&T also. They are making their connections in March. So knock on wood, those would be done well in time so that we can make sure we have a nice smooth opening for this summer.
Dave, before you go into that,
Sure.
back up to that picture. What's the rectangle in the top left corner there? Is that a retention pond?
It is. It is. I believe it's a drying pond for when dewatering. I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I think Joel might be on the call.
No, he's out in the meeting.
Oh, he is out in the meeting. I'm sorry. I believe I think it's the drying pond.
For just during construction or permanent?
Well, I think it's ultimately going to be a storm basin, but it's being used right now as a drying, dewatering pond.
Okay.
You'll notice on the last slide, you can see maybe if you zoom in on those photos when you, at your leisure, there's a lot of embedments in this. You can actually see when these panels were formed. It's absolutely incredible. That's actually shiplap. Look, that side right there that you can see. Thank you, Dorothy, for zooming in. It literally is shiplap. It is more of a rural agricultural look to this building. And it's truly phenomenal how it's coming out. I cannot wait to see how it turns out with the paint and the finishes.
The left photo looks like it's snow in the foreground.
Yes. And as you say that, I say, aren't we really thankful we're in South Florida and today is our terrible day of being so cold? So yes, we're appreciative in sitting here in December and doing site tours and having great work getting done. These photos, you can see the asphalt first lift, the main parking lot, and our spray fireproofing underway there. We'll have more pictures next month. There's lots of stuff going on. It's going quite well. Pine Grove. Pine Grove is this is the phase 2 of Pine Grove. As you may all remember, we've opened the actual new school, the modernized school. And what you'll see here is we have demolished the existing building. Underground drainage is underway, and we anticipate our main parking lot to be completed by May of this year. Scroll through a couple of those photos. The playground was one of the key points. We're still working on the covered area, but there's your demolished site, underground work going on there. Winbrook Elementary is also a modernization well underway. We are also opening Winbrook for August. This is a couple of buildings that were being renovated and the new building, new classroom building under construction. And as you can see, it's dried in. It's pretty well along. Still some site work ongoing, but that's understandable. And this would be, I want to say, in the same time frame as what we saw with the Arden site, the 15E West Acreage site. And it's all messy too, so. But yeah, and you'll even notice there on the Winbrook site, I know it's hard to see, but on the photo on the left, it does say, it has the word cafe embedded because that is the cafeteria building. But it's part of the artistic impressions of that building. Still got some of the underground work going on in there. And West Riviera Elementary, also a modernization. This one is 1 year removed. It will be not opening up this August, but it will be opening up next August. So we just started this construction over the summer. So they have demolished all the existing buildings. I think there's a couple of buildings that are to remain. Site work is well underway. Foundations are complete. Concrete slab is scheduled for this month. And you'll see in one of the photos, they are starting to form up the tilt panels. There you have the tilts. And those are a couple of the buildings that are being renovated, interior work. I think there's other photos that, there you go. And that photo in the middle is their mock-up for their windows. So they're already moving on towards what finished products will start to look like, so. Okay, the next school up is our historic Roosevelt, Phase 1, as we'll refer to it. This is the gymnasium, what used to be the welding lab, and a brand new 2-story building. And you'll note that they are moving along quite effectively. The gym is now back on track for completion. The big building on the left is the gym. Little building on the smaller building on the right is the brand new 2-story building which we're building, and you can faintly see in the back corner there is that is the welding lab that's being under renovation. This is a better picture. This gives you a better view of the lab, the gym. There's the gym, the new building in the lab, and then the old historic building off to the top right. And we know that we are moving forward with our Phase 2 of historic Roosevelt. Solicitations are out, I believe, around.
Yes.
They are on the street now.
C marked.
And we're also working with community partners as others will be operating the Phase 2 buildings when we are complete. But this is in the early stages, so of that one. Okay, go ahead. Gotta put my glasses on. I can't even see something.
Can you go, Dave? Can you go back to the photo you just had up? Sure. Yeah, back one more. Since I was talking about Seminole Ridge, I'll give a plug. The light blue house all the way at the very left.
Yeah, Dorothy, keep going to the left. No, right.
Keep going left.
Keep going left. Right there.
That is house number 10 that Seminole Ridge did.
That's correct.
Was installed last year.
Right. And the house right next to it is our construction trailer. We actually bought the property thanks to planning and intergovernmental relations. And that is currently being used as the contractor's construction trailer, and will be knocked down and will be a part of the design, it's the storm basement.
Okay, continue.
Okay. On, there's some of the interiors.
Bless you.
Thank you. All right, now we're on to the fun stuff. This is where the real work happens. There are minor projects. Dorothy's got quite a number of multiple roofs and quite a number of other projects. She's going to zip on through, so we won't even touch on them. But I really was impressed by the photos this month. Pavilion re-roofing, very impactful. I wanted to show this one, the Chuck Shaw Adult Ed Modular Foundations. Everybody kind of always gives me a lot of guff and says, come on, concretables, they're nothing. Just slap a couple of those things together. Hopefully you all can see the effort that goes into generating just the footings for just a single one of those modular classrooms. That is, you can see the footing down the center, the footings on each edge all the way around. It's a commendable effort. It does take a lot of work. So I know everybody gets on me about that. Well, come on, it's a chintzy little nothing. No, it's a considerable amount of work.
We're putting modulars at the Adult Ed?
Yes.
I mean, it's a brand new building. We didn't build it big enough?
We have other ancillary services out there at the Chuck Shaw site.
Right. Okay.
Ancillary services, meaning district services.
Okay.
Other departments have services out there that are not part of the Chuck Shaw Adult Ed program.
Okay.
There you have a re-roof and some of the interior work on our Jupiter High School field house. And I think that's it.
I had a couple questions. Back on your list of upcoming projects, February 2025, Fulton Holland was listed again. I mean, it seems like we've done like 5 or 6 jobs over the last 5 or 6 years at Fulton Holland. Wasn't there any way, or shouldn't we have tried to consolidate all the work we wanted to do there so that it could be a little more efficiently done?
There could be some truth to that. We'll come back to Ms. Mordish. Yes, there are certainly opportunities for economies of scale. Some of the services that have gone on have been associated with, I'll say, office churn, moving some of the spaces around. We are now currently working on the facility renewal. We could have rolled in some cafeteria work into the facility renewal, but it would have taken too long, and we needed to get some of those other projects moved forward. Facility renewal didn't come up until just recently. We could have gone back to ISOC and asked to have it moved forward. But I will say, one of my other challenges with Fulton Holland had been when we went through COVID, it would have been an ideal opportunity to do some of the work in there when people weren't around. And we've struggled with that. We're still trying to figure out what exactly Fulton Holland continues to look like. So Fulton Holland is the biggest moving part I've ever seen. There's a lot of things going on in there, and they are adjusted based on needs. I try to focus on like the cafeteria. That's something that I can't afford to wait on. The facility renewal work is stuff, are services that are needed, but they're not critical. They're not, the building's not falling down because of them. But they are certainly, we're going to get to them and get them taken care of. It's a little bit of a balancing act for us.
Okay.
I see Ms. Warnish's hand.
Yes, Francesca.
Hi, I'm sorry. I just wanted to let everyone know I am here and I'm sorry for my delayed entrance.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave, the other question.
You got other questions?
Yeah. Our new facility assessment study, what status is that in?
Well, we are anticipating taking a contract to the board in the next couple of months. I'll say one of our challenges, you guys don't need to know behind the curtain, but one of our challenges is associated with this assessment, we need software. There's a software package that the vendor uses, and we're going through the approval process to get that software approved so we can take it to the board. And we would anticipate that it will go to the board, knock on wood, in January. And with that going in January,
I think it's on goods and services side, right?
Yeah. I think it is on goods and services in January, and that we would hopefully start our assessments in February.
So you've already done the in-house assessments, is that correct? Because I thought it was going to be in-house and then you were going to hire out to a consultant. Is that correct?
No, we've done a I'll call it a phase 1 assessment,
right,
on all facilities to identify the long-term needs of the facility. That's our referendum is planned maintenance. What are we going to need to do over the next 10 years to plan maintenance to keep all the schools up and running? With that planned maintenance, we need a detailed assessment of what exactly those things are. What years do those things need to be done in? Do air handles need to be replaced at this school in year 3, or is it more like year 8? these are the questions that need to be assessed with that vendor, and they will go through and assess every school, all components.
You're saying with that vendor, is this something that does not have to go out to an RFP and somebody's already been selected?
We're piggybacking.
Yeah, we are piggybacking on an existing,
Solicitation. It's a,
There you go.
It's
an original, a previous solicitation.
Okay.
With a vendor. And our challenge, it's one of the challenges in doing this was getting somebody to be able to do all the assessments on all of our schools, all 182 schools plus, knowing that anyone that works on those assessments will not be able to work on any of the projects over the next X number of years.
Right.
So we do have a vendor that is on this consortium that is will be doing the assessment, so that with that knowledge, with that understanding.
Okay. I think under the previous referendum, we were told that Tririga would be the end-all program to be able to document all this stuff, know what pump motor went to certain schools so that maintenance would be able to hit a button and know what pump motor had to go out to get replaced. I'm assuming we're putting Tririga to rest and getting something new?
Not necessarily. Tririga is still an effective tool with the district, and it is very much actively involved in every transaction we make, financial transactions. It is likely that the results of our assessments will be able to be fed right into Tririga, and it will be able to be tracked both financially and facility based. So it will still be a useful tool.
Okay. I guess my concern would be to make sure that whatever we're tracking and we're documenting as to what air handler goes in a certain school, that becomes a giant database for maintenance, just to all of a sudden pull something up and know what air handler has to be replaced.
Mm-hmm. We are going to ensure that is the case. How it's going to get done, there's more work to be done on that. That's once we have the data, we'll then be able to make sure we populate Tririga effectively and can do what you're referring to, whether it be through Tririga, which will be our asset management, or if there's also something like, and I don't want to say but like a Procore, a project management type of software to know what's going on in each of those projects. That's why we're trying to marry data from this assessment into a number of different pieces, number of different softwares.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think whatever we determine needs to be something that just flows right on through without having to re-enter all data to get into a different system so it's useful for maintenance.
I appreciate your sentiment, and in order to not hurt anyone's feelings on this meeting, we'll move along. You're right. Okay. But yes, it would be nice to have it all one place, but we can't necessarily do all that all the time. So we're working on marrying everything together.
Oh, it doesn't know how to be in one place, but it's like you can take a Google Doc and then import it into a Microsoft Word file, and it's seamless.
Yeah.
So if we have something like that where the data from whatever software is being used to accumulate it by the consultant somehow is able to just be imported into whatever system you want to use to track it for maintenance, yeah, it's fine. But if you have to re-enter manually every letter and number at a time, then no, that's a complete
no. You're right. Our system will be fully integrated. It's just a question of there are challenges on what systems can talk to what other systems.
Yes.
Like the finance system doesn't want anybody talking to it, and legitimately, there's a good justification for that. We have to make sure that the data that comes out gets fed one way out of the financial system, gets fed into the operations system, and vice versa. And that's the challenge that we're always working through right now over the last year.
Okay. just keep us updated, I think. I don't know if it's monthly or every other month so that we kind of know what's up with the new facility assessment.
Yeah, we will, and you will certainly see. Michael's not here today, but Michael will do a lot more in-depth dive into all the cryptic nature of what I'm going through. I don't want to promise something. I'd rather have Michael be able to convey to you the details once we're ready to roll them out.
Yeah, and I think even go through an example school or something as he gets it more refined, because anything you develop from that will be something CORC will eventually get to approve because of the costs associated with those plan changes.
Couldn't agree more. You're absolutely right.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for Dave on updates or in progress?
I
We have one.
something to share. Regarding the upcoming solicitations and awards for AEs and CMARs, I just want to report we are in our final implementation phase of transitioning from our current e-procurement software system to our new system. We will be 100% live January 1st, although we won't be using it until January 6th when everyone's back in the office. So at that point, in January, we plan to advertise a bunch of solicitations. So I invite the newest CORC members to participate in our selection process. And if you're not familiar with it, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to share the information on the expectations of what a committee member, what that looks like. Dorothy, that's okay if they reached out directly to me, right? Okay, yes, please feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, and perhaps it might even be better to, when I had the board, the CORC members, the new members, I actually had to sit down with them.
Yeah.
You may want to just do a Google Meet with them to kind of introduce and walk through that process.
We can do that.
It's,
and
for everybody.
Mr. Guida can share how exciting it is to sit on.
Yeah, I was thrown on the fire.
He can blame me for that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No,
For the newest
we
CORC
do.
members, the part of our job as CORC members, when you can, is to sign up to be on a selection committee for either architects or contractors. And for some of the projects, there might be 10 to 15 architects, depending on the workload that's out there and the interest in the project. And so each of them will put together about a 70-page proposal. Once you've gone through a couple of them, you really get to the meat of the matter in about 15 of the pages that are enclosed, and the rest of it is the boilerplate that they have to submit, drug testing requirements and all that. And then you attend a meeting, and then the committee goes around the table and discusses pros, cons, what you saw in the proposals, and then you vote. And there's a whole scoring system you go down that's already set up for you. So you just kind of pick the range of scores that you want. And then the staff tallies it up right there at that meeting, and the firm is selected for recommendation to the board for selection. And the same works for contractors. So it is an interesting process. It does take a little bit of time. I mean, some projects you may get 6 applicants, and other projects there could be 15 applicants. So it all depends on the type of project, size of the project, and what the workload is out there that wants it or doesn't. But yeah, I would encourage all new members to at least try your hat at one of the meetings, and if it really doesn't fit your schedule, okay.
Yep. All right.
Okay, follow-up. Dorothy had sent out a one-pager on follow-up information. Anyone have questions on that? Done.
Yeah, 2 things. Under follow-up, they said December was the month that the revisions to the board policy for contingency use would be considered. Is there a date for that?
Yes, I do have an update for the committee. It's not a good one, but there is a justification in it. I was slated to have the 3 policies start the process in January to go before the board. I think it was January 14th. Recently, that That process has been postponed by leadership, but there is a justification. There's a reason for that. I guess I'll open up another can of worms, if you will. Leadership has supported the idea of having an outside company come through and review a lot of our procedures and processes, primarily for payments, but as well our operations. And that audit firm is expected to be hired and brought on. The recommendation was, well, why don't you just delay those policy changes until this audit is done, because you don't want to take these three policies forward to the board, have them accept them, and then 2 months later, the audit finding says, you know what you should do? You should change them and do these following edits. So the request had been for us to delay taking these items to the board until that process is done.
My suggestion then would be that whatever that entity comes up with that wants to change something that CORC has already gone through like 2 years ago,
Yes.
that it comes back to CORC before it goes back to the board again.
Oh, it absolutely will. There's no question. If there are recommended changes there's really only two policies that are, the third one was a repeal. There are only two policies that actually had demonstrable changes, those ones that we wanted to take forward. Those two, if a single word changes from what CORC had previously approved, we will absolutely bring it back, have full discussion with the committee to weigh in on those on those suggestions.
Okay.
So yes, I guess where I wanted to go is, just because an audit committee is coming up with recommendations doesn't mean we're going to accept them. If they come out, leadership will review them. We'll bring them to CORC for your consideration as well. I see Ms. Evans is on, so
Yeah, if I could add to it, we've received a lot of complaints from members in the construction community regarding payments, saying it's taking too long. And I know Dave and his team are working to make improvements, and that's a lot of the work that they've been doing. The firm we're hiring is a construction audit firm. They're not doing an audit. They're reviewing it and comparing it to best practices that they've seen industry-wide. We don't have to take their recommendations. We want to see what they have. And this has been something that the superintendent and leadership has agreed to do to help smooth the ruffled feathers from the construction community that's very upset that it's taking too long to get payments done. So we want an outside group to review it just to make sure that we've caught everything we can possibly change. There could be things that we're doing that we don't necessarily need to do with every payment. Maybe we need to do it halfway through the project and at the end. At the same time, we don't want to reduce our due diligence reviewing payments. So it's a balancing act. And that's why we've got a firm that specializes in construction audits, but they're not auditing. They're working as a consultant to give us their feedback. So that contract is being finalized right now. They are used by school districts throughout the state. I was at a conference last month, and Mr. Dolan was kind enough to do a presentation at that conference. And I heard from his counterparts from Orange and Osceola, and they got up without being prepped. The audit firm was actually speaking next, and they gave glowing recommendations about how much this firm has helped them to do their job better. So I'm really hopeful that the work that's happening is going to make life easier and better for the construction team. It's not meant to hamstring them. It's looking to make sure that we're doing it the best way possible.
Okay, well, that's disappointing. That's not going to be approved right away, as promised.
Well, the other thing I would mention that Mr. Dolan didn't mention, the district is doing a district-wide review of all the policies, and there's a backlog district-wide. Every single policy is going to the board right now. So a lot of time, I know there's been technology policies that have been shifted back a month just based on the schedule of how quickly we can get them to the board. So I don't know that this consultant is really going to cause a significant delay. I think the delay was happening anyways. So my for what it's worth.
The other thing I wanted to bring up or ask about was a couple months ago, there was a presentation on local preference that we had a discussion on. I just wondered when that's going to come back to us.
Yeah, let me, this is Joe. I'm going to check the calendar to make sure that we have make it to the CORC in person, because we have a lot of meetings that conflict with CORC, unfortunately. But if the January, I think I can make the January meeting. So if that's the case, then I'll bring it in January. I don't think the CORC meeting conflict. The January CORC is, what is it on?
The 16th.
16th.
Yeah.
I should be able to make that meeting. Give a ribbon cutting. Oh, Education Foundation ribbon cutting. The same
Yeah,
day.
the same ribbon. Yeah, foundations. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see if I can make that and bring it back there. Or at least if I can't make the meeting in person, at least get something out to you guys to take a look at it. I plan on bringing a proposal of the scoring sheet with revisions and the criteria for local, identifying what a local business is.
Okay. John, anything else?
Joe, this is Gloria Branch. I just wanted you guys to know that I wanted to give kudos. I just left the Boca Chamber breakfast, and Doug Mosley, head of the Boca Bowl, went on and on about Boca High and their facility. James Madison and Western Kentucky have been using the facility and the field. They just went on and on about how great it was. So I just wanted to give you some kudos and let you know.
Excellent.
Thank you. We could use some kudos every once in a while.
I know. We just got to get Spanish River up to speed, but Boca High, they went on and on and on about it.
Okay, cool.
John Cheshire, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else for follow-up questions? Okay. Next meeting, January 16th. It's on the agenda list. Anyone with issues on minutes?
I just have a question. When I compared the minutes to the board report, and I thank Dorothy for both, she does an excellent job, but one of them listed 2 members with excused absences, and the other one listed 3 members with excused absences. So I just want to get straight which one was correct. I didn't print it out, so if you might just check that to see.
I'll take a look at that. I'll figure it out. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Other than that, the minutes are really good, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we got our, anyone with any issues we know of for the next agenda, except maybe what Joe might bring back for local preference.
So, David, you're going to approve the minutes as
yeah, with the minutes as corrected. Yes. Minutes are accepted as corrected if corrections are needed. Anything else by anyone?
Yeah, I was scanning down some of the other things that are always on the agenda list. The attendance report, for one, which I think needs to be cleaned up now that you're starting, you just finished a year. You need to clean up, I know for me it says 1 absence, but I haven't been absent this past year. So you need to clean up the absentee columns, not the little boxes, but to jibe that they go together. Am I making that clear? What I'm trying to say? Anyway, okay. And the other thing was the roster. The roster that was given just listed who appointed, but we're accustomed to getting the list of the people with their email addresses. I think their local address. but a fuller list because we have so many new members on the committee. So I appreciate that.
And the one that's actually handed out, that's sitting on our table out here, is the one you're referring to, Ms. Ferris.
Okay. It's not on my table right here.
It's not the one that's on the online. You're right. We'll make sure that, yeah, it looks like it's missing because, yeah, this one has the email address.
Yeah, Erin checked. I thought she checked with you, Ollie. She checked with somebody, and they said that there was no reason to have that additional information there.
She did, just because of, we want to avoid any inadvertent sunshine violations. So that's why, yes, Erin did speak with me. So it was my recommendation that the personal information for the individual members not really be provided, just because we wouldn't want somebody inadvertently maybe, reaching out to someone. But again, it was just a recommendation in an abundance of caution to make sure that there's no inadvertent violation of the sunshine law.
Well,
that was the advice
all
given.
the years we've had it, we haven't had a problem, and I would appreciate having it back. There are times we may want to contact somebody on a personal basis, and I would really appreciate if we had that information back again.
And I'll defer to Dave and team as to, whether or not they want to revert back to that. It was just, the question was posed to me. And again, it was just in an abundance of caution to, prevent any possible inadvertent violations.
Yeah, I don't mind not having it. If I needed to get in touch with somebody, there's other ways, and you can contact Dorothy and say, hey, I need such and such's contact information for a personal matter.
Absolutely. Dorothy, Erin with my office, will certainly be available at all times to.
Well, for example, now I would want to reach out to Sam Shannon to wish him well. When somebody is ill, like Blue Doctor, want to wish them well. There's those personal reasons, and I don't think I should have to go through administration in order to do that. So I would appreciate having that list back again.
Mr. Sanchez.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no reason why Virginia couldn't reach out to anybody directly. I mean, yeah, there's no reason why any CORC member couldn't reach out to another CORC member to, say something that doesn't affect the voting. That's not going to come up for a vote. So I don't want to get us going too far on those issues. So yeah, we can share the information.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, the conclusion is we're going to leave it this way, but if you wanted to, you could send a list to Virginia of all the contact information. I mean, quite frankly, I'm glad my contact information is less publicly available. I mean, if somebody wants to get a hold of me, they can get a hold of me, but I like the idea it's not that readily available.
Except it kind of is. Board Docs Lite has month by month.
Right, so you can go.
So if I wanted to find the members list from February of 23, I would just go into Board Docs Lite, go back there, and whoever was a CORC member at that date, and that report still remains as is with their phone numbers and all the information. So it's a kind of a moot point, but we understand what Ms. Ferris is referring to, and we'll certainly look to make the adjustment.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else by anyone? Any CORC members?
It's happy holidays to everyone.
Happy holidays. And
we'll see you next year.
Yep, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
All right, who had on their bingo sheet?